Make sure you guys grab your drinks for this one because it's gonna be a good one. Hello beautiful people and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Gianna Land and today we're here with the mid-year book tag. Is it almost the middle of July? Yes. Am I still gonna do a mid-year book tag for you guys? Yes. I'm extremely late to this, I'm well aware, and I wanted to do this video a lot sooner, but I was just away for a month. I got back like 2 days ago and I knew that I still wanted to give you guys this video because I need to talk to you guys about what I've been reading for the first half of the month. So that's today's video. It's a little late, but better late than never, right? Hopefully you guys enjoy this. So I do have a bunch of questions. I actually took these questions from Sarah Caroli's video. I don't know if she made them, but that's who I got these from. If you guys want to use these as well, credits go to Sarah because that's where I found the inspo from. But we have a range of questions from my best reads, how many reads I've read, favorite quotes, to the worst reads, to the books I do not recommend to you guys, literally it all. So I hope you guys are ready for this. Jumping into the first question, and we're starting off strong, is my best book I've read in 2024 so far. I did go into this a little bit in my recent video that I filmed with Lily about us like having a little book talk, but I'm gonna talk more about this book because it's necessary. That book is none other than Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. You guys, I held off reading this for over a year because I just thought I wasn't gonna be interested in it, and that is one of my biggest regrets. Why did I hold off reading this book for so long? I loved every single second of this. There's not a single bad thing I can say about this book, which if you know me, that's kind of a big thing. Taylor Jenkins Reid is a very loved author by me. I've read a lot of her backlist. She's probably the author that I've read the most books from, but this one is based in like the late 70s, 80s, and it's based around like rock bands and stuff. So that's why I didn't want to pick up this book, because I'm not really into that. That's not really my vibe, but you don't need to love that aesthetic to really enjoy this book. You're gonna fall in love with Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing. You're gonna fall in love with all the characters that are talked about in this book. Like, this book will just hold such a special place in my heart, I've realized, and there hasn't been a day that's gone by that I haven't thought about this book since I finished it. And if you guys like audiobooks, I would really recommend you listen to the audiobook for this because it was just chef's kiss perfection. And I honestly don't think I'm gonna find a better read in 2024 than this one. It's gonna be very hard to top. Next question is, how many books have I read this year? So I do have a reading goal of 75 books for the year, and you guys, it's a new record. I'm not behind on my reading goal yet. Like, this is a new record for me. Normally I'm slowly falling behind at this point, but I'm actually 8 books ahead of my goal. Never heard of, but I have read 47 books out of 75 so far, and we are past the halfway point now, so I'm not gonna toot my own horn too much, but I did read 47 books, so we're on track to surpass that goal, which hopefully maybe this year I'll actually be able to do it. This will be the first year that I've actually completed my reading goal for the year. We also have the best sequel that you've read this year, and when I was trying to figure out what book I was gonna put for this question, I was struggling a little bit because there's been so many good sequels. I've really been trying to finish my series or at least make a lot of progress in them because I have so many going on, so I genuinely struggled to choose just one. We have The Resurrection of Wildflowers by Michaela Smeltzer. Oh my goodness, you guys, I completely forgot about this mini duet plus novella until I like scrolled through my Goodreads and remembered that I read it. This duet was one of the biggest surprises for me as well, but when I thought that the first book was 5 stars, I was like, I need to read the second one. When I tell you the second book was 5-star plus, you guys just have to believe me. It again was something that I didn't think I was truly gonna fall in love with because it's not the tropes that I normally read about, but it shocked me. This duet is mainly romance. I definitely want to label it as romance, but it also deals with like heavier topics and kind of gives more of a fiction feel. You're still focusing on the couple, you're still focusing on the characters and stuff like that, but it focuses heavily also on the town and kind of the surrounding aspects of it. So I want to say that it's romance with a lot of literary fiction, if that makes sense. I just love these characters, and when I read the novella after the second book, I didn't want to say bye to these characters. In my opinion, I needed like 3 or 4 books in this series, so highly recommend this duet. Also, be mindful of the age gap trope. I don't like age gap, but this was an exception. I didn't mind it as much in this duet, so just be mindful of that though. New releases that you haven't read yet but want to. So I did go into this in my last video a little bit, but there's not too many new releases that I can think of coming July, August, September. I looked and there was just nothing that really caught my eye. So hopefully I'll be able to find some before that time actually comes. But the ones that just released that I'm really interested in is Dishonestly Yours by Krista and Becca Ritchie. They're my favorite authors, probably my top 1 if I had to choose. So I'm really excited to see this new series that they have going on. I don't know if it's gonna be better than the Addicted/Calloway Sister series, guys. I don't know. But anything that they write, I am so down to read. This is just the biggest release that I'm waiting to pick up. I'm eagerly waiting to get my hands on it. Another one is Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, another really loved author by me. At this point, I just need to read anything Riley Sager writes at this point, and this was a really big release. Like, I was waiting for this one. I think this is the only book this year so far that I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and I was counting down the months, so I'm hopefully gonna pick those two up in a new video coming out. I really, really want to get my hands on them. And also a newer release, it is not as new anymore, but Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I did pick this up a few months ago, and it is another release that I've just been dying to read. I love the Chestnut Spring series. I love Elsie Silver's writing. I'm almost actually done the Chestnut Spring series, which is crazy to say. So I'm really excited to get into this once I do finish that series. I'm just super excited, and apparently all the books in this series are gonna be single dad trope, and I love that. I'm just excited to read more from Elsie Silver. The next question was really hard because, like I said, there wasn't a lot of releases that I was interested in the coming months, but we have the most anticipated releases for the second half of the year. So I did find two, but that's about it. So we have Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. This says that it's supposed to release September 24th. I feel like this book has been hinted at for a really long time, and then it just falls off, or like nothing ends up happening. I don't know. But Lynn Painter is also another favorite author of mine. I love Better Than the Movies. I also read Betting on You. Absolutely love those. I'm super excited to see more in the universe of Better Than the Movies. It just was one of the first books that I read when I got back into reading, so it also is really special to me. And I read that like I read that 3 years ago now, I'm pretty sure. So I'm super excited now, 3 years later, to be back into that universe and reading more. So that one I'm super excited for. And then the other one is Daydream by Hannah Grace, which comes out September 4th. I'm pretty sure this is the third one in the Maple Hills series. I could be completely wrong, but I really enjoyed Icebreaker and Wildfire. So I'm just excited to continue the series. I'm excited to see what it's all about. Those are the two that I've had my eye on for the second half of the year. Hopefully more will announce that's coming out, because like I said, there isn't anything right now, which kind of sucks. Next is my biggest surprise book, and I had to put The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. I knew I was gonna like this book, but I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as it did, and I think I liked it so much because of the topics that it talks about. I feel like Amber Smith depicted those topics so perfectly, and I feel like it's also really hard for authors to talk about those topics sometimes, to make sure that they're speaking on them properly and painting the right image and not explaining it in a wrong way. So I think she did an amazing job with this book. But you definitely have to check trigger warnings for this, because yes, you do know the topics that you're reading about when you read the back, but it was extremely dark. She went into extreme detail, and you just feel every single emotion that our main character is going through, which I absolutely love. She was not on the surface at all, and it was perfect, because I feel like you needed that from this character. It just was a lot. You uncover a lot. There's lots of layers throughout this book, but it was absolutely perfect. Last thing, before you go into it, be mindful that it is character driven, because this character is so in-depth. You're basically following the main character's life from right before high school all the way to the end of high school. So if you're looking for more plot-based, you might not like this one because it is character-driven. Favorite author, debut, or new to you? I couldn't decide on just one, so we have two. First one might not be a surprise, but we have Lauren Asher. I finished the Dreamland Billionaire series, and I have like 2 other books by her that I still need to read sitting on my shelf. So I don't know what it is about Lauren Asher's writing. I just really enjoy how she writes her characters, and I feel like her spice is absolutely perfect. It's not too much, it's not cringy. It feels genuine and passionate. So I think her spice is what really does it for her romance books with me. But either way, definitely a new favorite author. I'm so excited to pick up her new releases, and I really also want to get to Love Unwritten, which I have to read Love Design first, but she's definitely a fave, along with Hannah Grace. I really want to see what Hannah Grace ends up releasing after the Maple Hill series, because genuinely I really enjoy that series. Her sports romances, they just hit different. There's something about them. So I'm excited to see what she ends up coming out with besides the Maple Hill series. I just think she has so much potential, and I'm here for whatever she releases. This one was also kind of difficult, but my newest fictional crushes, I feel like I don't really have crushes on the characters that I read. I just really enjoy them, or I find them likable. But if I had to put down some answers for my fictional crushes, I have 3. Besides Lauren Hale, because he's not really new, we have Cade Eaton. He's featured in the second book of the Chestnut Spring series in Heartless. I just loved him. He was the perfect grumpy, cold-hearted man, but then he had the softest heart at the end. I don't know, he was probably the best like turnaround from the grumpy trope So he was definitely my favorite. And just because he's a cowboy, like come on, like I find cowboys so attractive. Another is Reich Meadows. This one is kind of older, but once I read Hothouse Flower, I just really fell in love with him because from the beginning of the series, you know about Reich, but you don't actually know him until you get to his book. And once I just got to know how he actually is and his past, and honestly, I just fell for him. And plus, Reich and Daisy are just a power couple in my opinion. And lastly, Cal Kane. The last book in the Dreamland Billionaire series was definitely my favorite. I know a lot of people say that the first book is good, the second book's even better, and the last book is the best. And I do agree with that. They all were 5 stars for me, but there was something about the last book in the couple, just with Cal, and talking about his past was something that I really needed from that book. Like I needed more depth from those characters, and Cal's addictions and what he was going through and his recovery and his growth was just everything I needed. Okay, books that made me cry. Not a lot of books make me cry, you guys. And first was Heartless by Elsie Silver. I don't know why this made me tear up. It was obviously happy tears. This wasn't like sad tears. I just was so happy for the couple, and I don't know, this one just hit different. Maybe I was just extremely emotional when I was finishing this book, but I shed a few happy tears. I can't lie to you guys. It actually is in one of the reading vlogs, and I couldn't believe that I was getting emotional over this. It was just so freaking perfect. And I think also with Cade's son, I feel like there was just something really, really special there. And also The Confidence of Wildflowers by Michaela Smeltzer. This one was not happy tears. There was a few moments throughout the book that I just started tearing up and I got so sad, but that's because I got so emotionally attached to these characters that when the bad things happened, which were extremely traumatic, let me just say that, it really, really hit me. I definitely saw some of the things coming, but when they actually did happen, it just hit me like a truck and I just felt numb. Which also is another reason why I feel like I needed to read the second book in the series, because I just felt so emotionally broken after finishing the first that I immediately jumped into the second. So if you need a good book that's gonna make you cry, this is the book for you. Reversing the scale over here, books that made me happy. The first one I have to include is Beautiful Disaster by Jamie Maguire. This book I still think about every single day, you guys, and I read this back in January. That's how you guys know that I really, really enjoyed this. I don't know why it made me so happy. I feel like I just really, really enjoyed the couple, really enjoyed the writing, and it is a college romance. I don't know if I'm being biased because I really, really enjoy those, but this one was by far the best college romance that I've read, and I think it was just something about how I could kind of relate to the characters, relate to their situations, and relate to their relationship, like the things that they went through, and like overcoming some things. Yeah, I was just really happy with the ending. There is 2 other books I'm pretty sure in the series. I haven't read them yet. I've been wanting to pick them up, but when I do, I'm sure I'm really gonna enjoy them considering how much I enjoyed this one. And Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This book also just made me really happy because it gave me so much summer nostalgia of kind of growing up, because it is based on summer camps and stuff like that. And there's just something that makes me so happy about reading about summer camps or just summer in general, like getting those summer feels, getting to read about characters that are just chilling in the sun, doing camp activities, just living their best life. So this book just really put a smile on my face, and it was extremely funny as well. So if you want a good time, you want a good laugh, you want the summer feels, you want to get some summer nostalgia if you went to camp as a kid or anything like that, this is definitely a book I recommend. I'm so excited for this question. The most beautiful book you bought this year. I buy books based on covers a lot of the time. I'm sorry to admit it, you guys. At least I'm not in denial. I buy a lot of books based on covers because I truly enjoy owning a beautiful cover. I like looking at them, I like collecting them. It's a problem. So I obviously couldn't choose one, but I did narrow it down to 2, which you guys should be proud. First one is by far the most beautiful. Like as soon as I picked this up, I just knew it. I actually got this in London, so this is a UK cover, but it's Sugar Baby by Celine St. Clair. Look at this cover. Sorry, my bookmark's in the way. Look at how gorgeous this cover is. Let's just take a moment, maybe a few moments, to just truly look at this beautiful, beautiful masterpiece. I'm just so obsessed with this. It's pink, it's giving all the vibes. I don't really know too much about this book, but my best friend Lily actually read it. She really enjoyed it. So I'm taking her word for it. I'm gonna give it a try, but oh my God, just this cover, I just can't get over it. And also Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. This is actually like a limited / special edition. My Indigo had it and I knew I had to pick it up. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The original cover is also really nice. I would have liked both, to be honest. Still might get both, but this one is just so pretty. I love the colors. I love like the holographic feel to it. It's just so pretty. What books do I need to read by the end of the year? There's a lot of them, but I did narrow it down to 3 because if I did give you all the ones that I truly need to read, we would be here forever. We have the 3 that I just have to read. Like if I don't read these by the end of the year, we have a problem. First is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Why have I not read this, you guys? This is one of his bestsellers and I still have not read it. Month after month after month. I've put it on so many TBRs and it just crosses my mind every month, and then the month goes by and I realize, oh, I still haven't read it. So if I don't read this by the end of the year, I truly feel like I can't say I'm a Riley Sager fan because I just keep putting one of his bestsellers off. I also really need to read / want to read Atomic Habits by James Clear. This was one of the first books that I actually picked up when I started reading again, and I still just haven't gotten around to it. I feel like it's a book that I want to read slowly over time and I just haven't put in the effort to start it. So I feel like I'm really going to enjoy it once I do start it. I just have to take that step to start it. And plus, like I said a million times, I really want to get more into reading nonfiction books or just more self-help success books, almost like business books. Please convince me / yell at me to read this in the comments. And lastly, Finley Donovan Rolls the Dice by El Cosimano. This is literally the 4th book in this series. I genuinely at this point just kind of want to get this series over with. I think there's another book after this one, which I don't know why she's prolonging this series, but besides the point, I want to finish it. The first 2 books were absolutely amazing. The 3rd was just dragged out, and I feel like the 4th is gonna get dragged out as well. But this one is much smaller than the other books in the series, so I feel like it will go by fast. At this point, I'm mainly just reading for the main characters, Finley and Barrow. I'm sure it will still be a good time, but I definitely need to just get this off my TBR and continue this series. How many 5-star reads this year have you had so far? I feel like at the beginning of the year, I had a lot. I was just throwing out 5 stars left, right, and center. And then I feel like the last 3 or 4 months, I've dialed it down. Like, I feel like I've really figured out what makes a book 5 stars for me, so I'm not easily handing them out. I do have 10 so far this year. I don't know how many more I'm gonna have by the end of the year, but I will give you my first and last 5 stars, because if I told you all of them, we'd be here for a while. So my first 5-star that I gave out was Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire. This one obviously is still a 5 stars. I love this book, like I said. This one was well deserved, and right at the jump of January, I handed out my first 5-star. My most recent 5-star was The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. This is a memoir, so I hate just saying this is a 5 stars because I don't want to just slap a rating on this, but I did really enjoy it, and it was probably the last book that I read in June and July that I truly actually enjoyed, because I haven't been picking up good books lately. I don't know what that's about. So this was the last 5-star that I had, and it was in May, I'm pretty sure. Hopefully July will bring me a 5-star. What books do you want to reread this year? This one is gonna be easy. You guys probably can already guess which one I'm gonna say, but Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. As soon as I finished it, I wanted to reread it, and as soon as I did finish it, I actually did watch the TV show, like the adaptation for it, which I highly recommend. Normally, you guys know me, I say the books are better all the frickin' time, and it's so true, but this is the one exception that I can truly say that I really enjoyed the adaptation. So I'm definitely gonna do a reread of this. I do want to heavily annotate this because I just need to put my thoughts on the page. I need to mark it up. I need to make it mine. This is definitely a reread coming soon. A book that I enjoyed with some mixed reviews. I think you guys might agree with me on this one, but Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I feel like there was a lot of hate on this book, but there was a lot of love on this book. It's very like hit or miss for a lot of people. A lot of people say the same things, but then everyone who loved it is also kind of saying the same things about it. So going into it, I was like, okay, if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And I loved it. This book was really freaking good. I understand what people are saying about the spice and how they don't think the romance was genuine and it was mainly just spice after spice after spice, which they're not wrong. This was probably one of the spiciest books I've ever read, but I liked it because I felt like the characters actually were in love. I feel like they did have a genuine connection besides the spice. I don't know. Let me know where you guys stand. If you guys have read this book, I would love to know your opinions because it is so hit or miss. 5-star predictions for the end of the year. I really want these to be 5 stars, but at this point with how my 5-star ratings have been going, I don't know. First one we have is Binding 13. I do have 2 cover editions. So I'm really hoping that it's 5 stars considering I did get both editions. I don't know what edition I'm gonna read when I do read this book, but everyone's been raving about this series. A lot of the people that really enjoyed the Addicted/Calloway Sister series have enjoyed this series. I feel like I'm really going to enjoy it, and I just hope that it could potentially be that 5 stars that I need. Along with Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan, I'm extremely late to this, you guys. I know this book has been talked about for a very long time, and I just never really was interested in it until you guys started recommending it to me, and I heard a little bit more about it and more reviews, and then it really piqued my interest, like immediately. So I was really surprised that I just never had an interest before, but I feel like this could be a 5 stars because I like a good sad romance. I like a romance, clearly, as you can see from the other books, that has characters that have had a bad past or their past is messy. So that's why I think this one's gonna be a 5 stars, and I really hope that it is because I'm hyping it up a lot. And lastly, Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. I just have a feeling it's a massive romance book, which I feel like I'm not going to love completely, but I feel like the writing and the characters and the romance is going to make up for it. Plus, I've been really liking the whole like remodeling, construction, interior design aspects in books, and I feel like Lauren Asher just does it perfectly. She's the best for it, you know? I really hope that this is a 5 stars. I'm also really excited to talk about this question. We have our favorite quotes so far this year, and I do have a note on my phone that has all the quotes that I save from every single book that I read. It took me a while to find these, so you guys know that I'm about to give you guys the top tier quotes that I've found this year. So the first one is from Hot House Flower. Loved that book so much. It says, "You spend so much of your time trying to save me and you don't even realize you're killing me." And that's on page 358. There was just something about this quote that hit so different when I was reading the book, because in the scene that this quote happened, it was just so special. It just hit me so hard, and plus I feel like I could relate to that quote a little bit. So the second one is from The Confidence of Wildflowers. I always get them confused. It says, "Wildflowers are strong, resilient. They can grow under most conditions. I want to be like that. I let my hair down, his eyes watching my movements. I want to have the confidence of wildflowers, to never give up, to flourish and thrive." On page 158. Like, can a quote get any more perfect than that? It can't. It just can't. And the last one is from Final Offer. I feel like I just had to throw in this quote. It is iconic. It is a pretty popular quote if you have read the book or have seen anything about it. This quote is said a lot. It's, "I dare you to wait for me, the real me, the sober me, the best me who wants to spend the rest of his days getting drunk on life with you." It's just perfect. And that was on page 489, towards the end of the book. And lastly, I saved this question for last because who really wants to talk about the worst books? Who wants to talk about them? I want to forget about them. I never want to think about these books ever again. But to warn you guys about my opinions on these books, I'm gonna tell you guys the worst books that I've read in 2024 so far. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of meh, but there's some really bad ones. Really bad. First one being actually my first DNF of the year. I think I've only had one DNF. Yeah, I think I've only had one DNF, and it was this one. Bones by, I don't even remember the author's name. I don't really want to go into the reasons why I didn't enjoy it because it is a memoir and I feel so bad saying that, but I just didn't feel comfortable reading this book. Like, I've read a lot of books dealing with this topic because it's extremely relatable to me and my past. So when I read this one, I just feel like it was not for me. That was by far the worst, but don't worry, we have more. We also have 7X's by Lucy Vine. I talk about how much I dislike this book a lot to you guys, and truly, with my whole entire heart, I do not recommend this book to you guys. Don't waste your time. It just was so bad. It was so repetitive. It was so immature. Like, the main character was, I think, in her 30s, and she was just the most immature character I think I've ever read about in my entire life. So please do not pick this up. It is not worth it, you guys. It just was so bad. And lastly, we have Really Good, actually, by Monica Heisey. I think this is the only book that I gave 1 star this year, and it truly deserved it. I'm pretty sure this book took me over 2 months to read. That is insane. A single book, it took me 2 months to read it. That's just a sign right from the jump that I hated the book. This is literary fiction, I'm pretty sure. It's character driven, but again, I just hated the main character. She went around in circles and just did not grow at all. And I feel like when you have a character driven book focusing on the character's life, I feel like there needs to be a little bit of growth. I know a book doesn't need to have a character starting from nothing and like being successful and completely fine and overcoming everything. That's not what I wanted from the book. I just wanted a little bit of growth, just a little tiny bit, and there was nothing. I don't really recommend this book, but I mean, I'll give the 1 star to the cover. The cover is gorgeous. I really enjoy the cover. And I think that's the only reason why I haven't unhauled it, to be honest, because I want the cover. But that's officially my mid-year book tag and giving you guys kind of all the info of the books that I've read so far in the first half of the year. I feel like so far we've had some good reads, but we've had some really bad reads, and with how the second half of the year is going so far, we're not looking good. There's like no good books that I've been picking up, which absolutely sucks, but I'm praying that maybe after July or the end of July, I will get back into enjoying the books that I'm picking up. It just feels like nothing's piquing my interest. That is your mid-year book tag. If you guys want to do do this video as well. I'll have the questions down below. I did not make all these questions, so I'm not taking the credit for them, but I will put them there in case you guys want to answer them or make a video about it, and maybe even drop down below in the comments answers to some of these questions. And also while you're at it, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff you guys know how to do, and make sure you check down below for my Patreon to join my Patreon family. We have so much fun over there, and they get to see all the behind the scenes, all the extra content. It's literally just Patreon exclusive content that they get to see that no one else does, so make sure you guys check that link so you guys don't miss out on things like that. But other than that, I really hope you guys are having an amazing, wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! This baggage is heavy, there's no one to have me back to back. Don't think I'll ever be, cause how does a girl hold the weight of the world? Where do you go? Okay, that's enough of a jam party. I need you a little closer to me. Maybe if I know where the book went. I swear I've lost this book like 3 times. Surprisingly, that's like not something I normally would say. Wait, maybe this is the 4th one. Oh my god, this fly. Coffee intermission. Titan popped in to say hi to you guys. And lastly, Finn. But then again, I also really like this one because look how floppy it is. Which is hashtag not great.